wow, you know, I'd never thought about insects that way, you know, like I never, wow, but they're all different, you know, like so many of them, and they all have these weird life cycles, and they really perceive the world really differently from us, and like, wow, I'd never thought about it. I'd never thought about it before, like one day at university, I had a good professor who was really inspiring. He's like this kind of older dude, and he'd studied stink bugs all of his life. And I was just like, why did you study stink bugs all of your life? That's ridiculous. And he made us all buy a field guide of insects and told us to go out and look at insects. And I did that, and I was like, well, what? This one's not the same as that one, and well, what's this one doing? What's this one doing on top of that one? And like, I was like,
against that one.
That's for another class. And so, yeah, I lived in the countryside all of my life, but I knew what a beetle was and what a fly was and what a dragonfly was, but I really hadn't really paid attention to them all that much. And now I just, every time I see this, I'm like, wow, what's that guy doing? Like, why is it here? What's it thinking about? And oh yeah. Anyway, and it's really great to be able to walk around and recognize the insects that you're seeing, because insects are like 80 to 85% of all living things on the planet, including plants, not including bacteria, but. That's a lot. If you don't know how to recognize an insect, it's kind of like you can't recognize most of the living things today. That's a bit of a pity. And I see things as kind of like we're in a team, like we're Team Earth. There's like us, and there's the insects, and there's the plants, and when you go to the garden, you're like all like doing this teamwork together. You think you're gardening, well, think again. There's all these insects. They're going to have a different idea on that. And so if you don't know how to recognize your teammates, it's a bit of a pity, like what are you gonna, you're like, oh, what do I do with the ball now? It's like, oh, fuck, it's with me, and I don't know. So I think it's kind of nice to be able to put some basic names to insects. Be like, oh yeah, I know what that one does. That one's like a predator, and that one, oh yeah, that one, I've seen that one already before, And yeah, so, wrong direction, insects. So, what's an insect about anyway? What is an insect? Can anyone tell me, like, without looking at this, what defines an insect? What's like, how do you know something's an insect and not something else?
6 legs. It doesn't have bones.
6 legs. Yeah, it doesn't have bones. That's right.
Exoskeleton.
Exoskeleton. Yeah, a lot of things have exoskeletons, though. But that's definitely
3 seconds.
that's one good thing.
6 legs.
6 legs. 6 legs is good. Anything that has 6 legs pretty much is an insect.
3 body parts?
3 body parts. Awesome.
Has wings or had wings?
What was it?
Has wings or?
Yeah. Has. Should have wings. It should have wings. It should have 4 wings. Unless it's a fly, it has 2 wings. But most insects have 4 wings. So yeah, 3 pairs of legs, 2 pairs of wings, and 3 body parts. They have the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. And the legs and the wings are always attached to the thorax. So when you're teaching your kids or whatever to make a drawing of an insect, if they put their legs here, you can say, that's very pretty, but it's not quite correct. 2 antennae. All insects have 2 antennae. That differentiates them from crustaceans, which have 2 pairs of antennae, so 4, and spiders, which don't have any antennae. They have mandibles. Spiders don't have mandibles. So what's not an insect anyway? Well, you've got arachnids, myriapods, which are centipedes and millipedes, and crustaceans. These are the most common things that are not insects that you're going to encounter. And I'm not going to talk about them not because they're not cool, but because I kind of had to focus my talk. And most of the things you're going to see around insects. Yep.
What about slugs and worms?
They're mollusks, and oh, no, not worms, right? Slugs are mollusks, and snails are mollusks. Worms are annelids, and I'm not going to be talking about those very much. Actually, I do mention slugs at the end, but I'm not going to talk about them very much. They're different from all of these guys. These guys are all arthropods, and these guys all have an exoskeleton, like you were saying, exoskeleton. And so I'm not going to talk about anything that's mushy, right?